This is ABC 7 News at 6.
An Augusta woman is accused of leading police on a chase following an alleged burglary in Skowhegan. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Beth Jones.
And I'm Devin Dagnall. 42-year-old Matisse Fry and a teenager were arrested on Tuesday after police were called to a burglary in progress on Pineview Avenue.
Authorities say the vehicle sped off and headed towards Canaan on Route 2. The teenager jumped from the vehicle at an intersection and ran into the woods. Police say Fry was eventually stopped near Lake George Regional Park. According to the Morning Sentinel, Fry initially refused to leave the vehicle and said she had a gun. Police eventually removed her from the vehicle and placed her under arrest. She's now facing a number of charges, including burglary, criminal speeding, and eluding an officer. Police also caught up with a 16-year-old boy who is also facing similar charges.
Well, a Manchester, Maine man was sentenced today in U.S. District Court in Bangor. According to the United States Department of Justice, 39-year-old Joshua Brom was sentenced to 40 months in prison, followed by 3 years of supervised release and restitution in the amount of $1,120. According to court records, in October 2022, Brom entered an Augusta bank wearing a mask and a hat. He pointed a gun at a teller and demanded all of the money in the drawer. After taking the money, Brom fled the scene in a gold-colored GMC Yukon. 4 days later, Brom was arrested after investigators located a vehicle matching the description with other evidence inside of it.
Well, Associate Justice of the Maine Supreme Judicial Court has been accused of an ethics violation by the Committee on Judicial Conduct. The committee, which supervises the Maine judicial branch, says that Associate Justice Catherine Connors has violated the Code of Judicial Conduct by not recusing herself from 2 foreclosure cases. According to the committee report, Connors worked as an attorney representing banks and banking interests before being confirmed to the Maine Supreme Judicial Court. The report goes on to say that Connors previously had written to the Judicial Ethics Advisory Committee asking if she needed to recuse herself from the cases, and at the time, the committee determined she did not need to. However, the Committee on Judicial Conduct says Connors was required to consider whether her impartiality might be questioned from the perspective of a reasonable person. The case will be considered by the Maine Supreme Judicial Court.
Turning to the election, a newly released poll taken by a state research organization shows the race for Maine's 2nd Congressional District is neck and neck. Our Augusta reporter Corey Bouchard spoke with the director who organized the poll to learn more about what else this data could possibly tell us.
When we asked people what are the things that keep them up at night, more than 50% of the people had an economic issue.
Kevin Fay is the director of Digital Research, a Portland-based organization that polls Maine voters twice a year on issues such as the direction of the state, which issues they're most concerned about, and approval ratings of our elected officials. Every 2 years, those polls also include questions about which candidates people want to represent them.
It's a poll of 600 voters, half in the 1st district, half in the 2nd district. So we had 300, just a shade over 300 voters in the 2nd district that took part in the poll. And I think the difference was literally one person between the 2 candidates.
In Digital Research's poll of the 2nd Congressional District, both Representatives Golden and Representative Theriault were tied with 38%, with 21% of voters not yet sure of their choice.
When you look at those undecided voters, they do tend to be largely made up of folks that are not affiliated with a party. They're unenrolled voters that tend to be a little less engaged generally.
The top of the ticket is also a close race here in Maine, with 48% of the total people polled voting for Vice President Harris and 41% voting for former President Trump. As a reminder, Maine splits its electoral votes, with 1 electoral vote going to the winner of each congressional district and 2 going to the winner of Maine's popular vote.
The vice president's advantage in the 1st district is such that it is outside the margin of error, so we can sort of say with some degree of confidence that she's likely to take the 1st district. When we get up to your neck of the woods in the 2nd district, it's a little dicier. Former President Trump does have an advantage and would appear, just based on sort of like a quick scan of the numbers, to be likely to take that a single electoral vote. But given the smaller sample size with less precision, It's just inside the margin of error.
In Augusta, I'm Corey Bouchard for ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
Well, on Tuesday, students from around the state cast their votes for federal offices in a mock election. 115 schools participated and submitted their results to the Secretary of State's office. In the presidential race, former President Trump won the popular vote with 52%, and Vice President Kamala Harris came in second with 40.8% of the vote. In the race for U.S. Senate, Senator King secured his victory, winning over 43% of kids. His closest challenger was Republican Demi Kouzounis with 23.9%. Maine's 2nd congressional district was a bit of a nail-biter, with Representative Jared Golden beating out his Republican challenger Austin Theriault 49.3% to 48.8%, with the election less than a week away. We will have to wait to see how these results line up with the results from the actual general election.
On other news, concerned community members are picketing at this hour outside the Old Town Orono Y building in protest of plans to close the Piscataquis Regional YMCA.
Our Doug Banks joins us live on scene with more. Doug.
Good evening, Beth and Devin. Yes, I'm outside the Old Town Orono YMCA right now, where signs here behind me is saying, "Release the Dover YMCA." Now, for context, the Old Town Orono YMCA merged with the Piscataquis YMCA back in 2022. Now, I'm going to step aside and show you some of the picketers right now. The context of this is that these are members of a group that want to form the Piscataquis Area Community Center. Now, this would be a separate entity from the YMCA, and citizens that we spoke with are obviously frustrated that there's been no communication between the Old Town Orono YMCA board and these people that want to form this separate entity. Now, I did speak with one of the organizers who said that there's less numbers here today, specifically because board members from the Old Town Orono YMCA spoke with them and extended a olive branch in some ways, saying that they'll begin communications with them and possibly set up a possible way for the Piscataquis Area Community Center to become an actual thing. Now, this is still a fluid situation, and we'll have more information on this tonight when we speak to more organizers and more people here tonight. But this is all we have for right now. In Orono, I'm Doug Banks for ABC7 Fox 22 News. Back to you.
Thank you, Doug.
All right.
Well, let's turn things over and get a first look at our forecast.
Thank you so much. Our first weather is brought to you by Jordan's Furniture. It's not just a store, it's an experience. And we made it to November's around the corner. Of course, Halloween is just 24 hours away, and it's feeling like it, right? We're seeing all those colors outside, but soon we're going to be past peak fall foliage. These red colors here in town and south closer to the coast, that's showing peak right now. But very, very soon, we're talking within days, we will all be past peak fall foliage in the state of Maine. Exciting stuff, right? It means winter is around the corner. Starting to feel like it. Low 50s out there as highs for today. Mid 40s in Greenville. 49 degrees in the Millinocket region. Right at the coast, Rockland, Bar Harbor, and Machias, we saw some low to mid 50s outside. That is still a little bit below average. We saw those well above average temperatures, 60s and 70s for over a week straight. Now, the last 3 days, we saw temperatures slightly below average. No worries, though, that will begin to change. We're talking near record highs out there the next couple of days. Overall, though, no rain. A few sprinkles out there still lingering. Lots of clouds still in the area. For tonight, though, we're going to continue to clear up. Temperatures will be back in those upper 40s to lower 50s.
All righty, Conrad, thank you. Well, coming up on ABC 7 News at 6, our Grace Blanchard talked with school officials to figure out why school enrollment rates are dropping across the state.
And Bucksport plans to develop clean energy at the location of the town's former paper mill. Those stories and much more as ABC 7 News at 6 continues.
Jared Golden reversed his position on gun control. Golden flipped. Golden now supports a ban on the most commonly held rifle in the U.S. Jared Golden is not one of us. The NRCC is responsible for the content of his advertising.
An illegal immigrant ran an Albion mother off the road and killed her. How did we get here? Before Biden opened the border, Jared Golden voted to protect sanctuary cities, gave welfare to illegal immigrants, voted to allow those benefits to be spent on liquor and bail. Jared Golden created an immigration crisis in Maine, made it worse in Washington. And this is the cost. Congressional Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
It's another exciting year of high school football in the state of Maine. Get out and support your home team and be looking for the ABC7 Sports Blitz crew. You can get a free Sports Blitz t-shirt, then watch Sports Blitz during ABC7 News at 11 every Friday night during the football season. Blitz shirts courtesy of
Driveway Maintenance Paving, Flash Me Maine Photo Booth, Joe's Market, Katahdin Trust Company, Lavanos, Maine Animal Keeper, and Maine Paving.
At WKIT in the 90s, things were a little different. Now we take the rock very seriously. Still clowning around decades later. 100.3 WKIT, WKIT HD, Brewer, Bangor.
Jared Golden reversed his position on gun control. Golden flipped. Golden now supports a ban on the most commonly held rifle in the U.S. Jared Golden is not one of us. The NRCC is responsible for the content of his advertising.
You're watching ABC7 Bangor.
Welcome back. According to the Maine Department of Education, school enrollment in the state has been declining for well over a decade, and with more empty classrooms, more districts are turning towards consolidation. Our Grace Blanchard shares more.
We just aren't seeing the numbers in schools that we used to years ago. So the school's really needing to take some steps to adjust.
RSU 63 provides education to K through 8th graders in Eddington, Clifton, and Holden. According to the superintendent, the district is considering consolidating and closing one of its buildings, as enrollment is much less than a 2015 study predicted.
We're about half the number of students that we were at when the study was first done in 2015. So you can see that's a pretty significant change for a small district in Maine.
Between the three schools, there are 442 students. At the time of the study, the Holbrook Middle School alone had over 300 students. Today, there are 178, leaving hallways and classrooms that were once filled with students now dark and empty.
Tough thing to ask the taxpayers to continue to fund buildings that just aren't at capacity and that we just don't need.
According to the Maine Department of Education, more schools across the state are heading in this direction due to declining enrollment in aging buildings.
Even the more, mid or coastal, south coastal communities are looking to do consolidated projects to make themselves more efficient, to reduce their footprint and try to provide educational services in more of an efficient way.
If the district decides to consolidate, it will go to a referendum vote, giving the community the final decision.
We're making a decision that's going to impact, another generation. So we're trying to be really thoughtful about doing that.
In Holden, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Meanwhile, Bucksport is moving forward with plans to develop clean energy at the site of the town's former paper mill. Our David Ledford has that story.
Bucksport is one of 6 Maine communities recently awarded a state grant to support the redevelopment of industrial sites and help Maine to reach climate and clean energy goals. Thanks to the grant, the town is partnering with JIRA Americas to determine the feasibility of clean energy projects at the former Verso paper mill.
The site can attain more of what it was envisioned to be in the first place.
JIRA Americas said in a statement they're looking at a number of clean energy options for the site. However, it's not yet clear what renewable energy sources are being considered or what it would mean for jobs in the area.
I know in terms of a valuation increase, that would be one, and depending on the nature of the energy created, is a pretty wide open window in terms of what the end result could be.
The Verso mill closed in 2014. Town officials say developing clean energy at the former site could be a benefit to both the Bucksport community and the state of Maine at large.
This is what we've been working towards all these years. Having activity on that site that increases its productivity and, as a bonus, assists the state with its goals as well, gives Bucksport one more check mark in the right box.
And locals we spoke with say they're hopeful that the project could help revitalize the town.
It's a beautiful town. It just needs a shot in the arm.
That's all.
I want to see a facility, a large piece of land, be productive.
In Bucksport, David Ledford, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Still to come on ABC 7 News at 6, our Doug Banks caught up with the members of the Schoodic Fire Academy to highlight the next generation of firefighters.
And in sports, from D3 to SEC, how one Maine football wideout will make a dream come true on Saturday. Well, that story after the break.
Maine's largest network of parts has more ways to save this fall. Whether it's oil, air, or fuel, light or heavy duty, our Napa filters are on sale right now. But for a limited time only, Coastal Auto Parts is owned and operated by a Maine family that cares.
These days you can buy a new mattress anywhere. However, getting the right mattress at the right price will keep you up at night. When you're ready for a new mattress, come to Dorsey's. We've delivered more mattresses to this area than any other retailer. With over 48 years of experience, the largest in-stock selection, plus our 30-night sleep guarantee, we've got the right mattress for you at a great price. Dorsey Furniture, Route 1A, Holden. Sleep well, my friends.
Two Old Goats Antiquities and Artisans is located in Trenton. Our shop is open year-round, offering more than 3,000 square feet of antiques, furniture, collectibles, and just plain fun stuff. We are a group shop featuring 18 different vendors, each with their own style. We buy and sell vintage items, antiques, and curios. For more info, follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Two Old Goats Antiquities and Artisans, 749 Bar Harbor Road in Trenton. We know once you've stopped in and seen all the great deals we have to offer, you'll be back.
Hell, I'd like to kick back.
Skip work, just like no show.
No show, Austin Terrio.
But I can't, because when Terrio did show up, he voted against lowering my prescription costs.
Now Terrio's running for Congress, bankrolled by the Project 2025 crowd, whose plan lets drug makers charge whatever they want.
And threatens to privatize Medicare.
Shows me all I need to know about Terrio. HMP is responsible for the content of this ad.
Maine's largest network of parts has more ways to save this fall. Whether it's oil, air, or fuel, light or heavy duty, our Napa filters are on sale right now. But for a limited time only, Coastal Auto Parts is owned and operated by a Maine family that cares.
Put a little more cash in your bank. Save money with half-off deals at foxbangor.com.
Welcome back in. We are going to start things over at Alphons Stadium in Orono. Big week for Maine football, and one Black Bear receiver is going to make a dream come true on Saturday. Jack Webb has the story.
Yeah, just let it rip. It's just football.
This time last year, Mo Arafin was at Division III St. Vincent College preparing to play Thiel. This week, he's getting ready to play national powerhouse Oklahoma.
It's a bit of a surreal feeling, going from D3 and then playing the SEC in one of the bigger conferences. But, I'm just excited for the opportunity, excited to be on that stage and just, go up there, compete, play with my brothers.
And I actually thought about him today, just like sitting in his seat, like now you're going to Norman, Oklahoma to play Oklahoma. I kind of I don't know if he was ever in his head, but here's the opportunity, and going out there and being in the moment would be the most important thing.
It was actually very much in his head. There were 960 people in attendance at that game a year ago in Latrobe, Pennsylvania. And in those moments, Mo was working towards playing in front of crowds like the 80,000 that'll be in Norman, Oklahoma this Saturday.
I just know if I kept my head down, I just kept pushing, one day I was going to get to that, to this spot. I remember watching college football pump-up compilations on my phone, and just dreaming, like, if I ever get my chance to play in a stadium like this, I want to ball out, make a name for myself.
This type of opportunity isn't just handed to you. It's earned through years of hard work.
My work ethic, that's the most important thing to me. It gives me my confidence. So, just putting my head down, knowing that the work I put in is going to help me, produce on Saturdays.
Going back to just his work ethic, his level of consistency, he is certainly a Division I talent.
After the St. Vincent graduate entered his name in the transfer portal and took a visit to Orono, the culture spoke for itself.
It was a brotherhood, and I saw that instantly. Something that really drew me to it. I came on my visit with my brother, and even he was in my ear like, yeah, this is somewhere I think you can come here and be successful.
The Black Bears will need that brotherhood at full force on Saturday against an SEC opponent.
Just go up there, just try to, play the best with my brothers, and just compete, that's been the main focus for us this entire week, just going up there and competing.
Kickoff is scheduled for 2:30 Eastern from Orono. Jack Webb, ABC7, Fox 22 Sports.
Thanks for that, Jack. Looking forward to that. Let's go to some playoff soccer now. We'll stay up in Orono for this one. It is a Class C boys quarterfinal matchup. Central Red Devils playing the Red Riots, the host. First half, Central up 1. Antonio Mendez-Camasis gets a great ball here from Dylan Dupuis, but a great save from Nicholas Masters keeps him off the board. Central still up 1. Same score. Camasis gets a great ball to Brady Hughes, and he makes it count. Nets the equalizer. We are all tied at 1 going into the half. Late second half, the score is still tied. Orono looking for the game winner. Hughes to Micah Olson. Look at Masters with the bounce here. Jumps above the crossbar to tip this one away, so we head to overtime. In overtime, Central with a chance. Kaysen Rushlow fires. Matthew Allen is there for the diving save. With 3 minutes left in OT, Jay Tweedy sends it into Mendez-Camasis. He redirects it far corner, scores the game winner. Time to celebrate in Orono. The Riots win it 2-1. And that is all the time we have for sports. Here's Conrad Supinski with your full 5-day forecast.
Thank you very much. That's some good stuff there. Our main weather today is brought to you by Diversified Ink Tattoo Studio in Penobscot Plaza in Bangor, providing custom ink by licensed artists for over 20 years. And lots of clouds out there for today, an abundant amount of cloud cover, and that will begin to change. We're talking near record highs the next couple of days. 70s will be back. Yes, 70s. And then in several days, that's when we take a turn, and then 40s will be back as high temperatures. But let's just enjoy and soak in all these warmer temperatures for now. The last 3 days, though, slightly below average, but that will be changing. A lot of rainfall in the Midwest. We're talking even some severe thunderstorms in some spots. This is just the beginning. We are talking some nocturnal storms, which are those overnight storms, one of the deadlier type of storms, twice as deadly as just regular storms during the day. And that is because a lot of people are just sleeping and not by their phones and just not alerts with what exactly is going on outdoors. Now, dew points will continue to stay high Thursday, throughout the whole entire day on Thursday. By Friday morning, things will be improving. And then by the weekend and then beginning of next week, we are looking at very comfortable dew points, finally back to normal. We are looking at small craft advisories that are in effect till around that noon time frame on Thursday. This is for the coast. Of course, we are looking at some pretty high waves, around 6-7 feet in some spots, and of course, those gusty winds as well. Now, wind speed forecast. This is what we're looking at currently. 13-mile-per-hour winds. Bar Harbor, same story. And by the coast, we are looking at those very gusty winds, especially offshore. If you're out and about in the ocean, maybe reeling in some giants, I hope, then you are definitely dealing with some of these gusty winds. And we're not done with that just yet. Tonight, yes, the winds will be a little bit more on the calm end, more on the breezy end for tomorrow. And then by Friday, this is when we're really looking at some gusty winds, especially at the coast. You see these orange, red colors, Bar Harbor, Machias, Rockland. We're talking 35, even higher wind speeds at times in some locations. Now, our average high is right around 53. So yes, today closer to average, tomorrow and Friday well above average. Cold front comes in Friday evening, just like that, bam, back in the 40s, and we'll stay in the 40s right through the weekend, even into Monday. We're looking at mid to upper 40s as high temperatures, back at around 52 by Tuesday. That's going to be closer to our average high by that time of week. Now, for tonight, though, we are looking at very, very mild temperatures. Our average low should be in the 30s. We're in the near 50 degrees as a low temperature. Decrease in clouds overall, though, we are looking at some dense fog in the area once again. A light breeze out of the southwest that's bringing in all those warm temperatures. That's going to continue into tomorrow. Very gusty winds, mostly sunny skies, though, but check out that temperature. 76 degrees. Is it Christmas or what? Not quite. That's our Halloween. Yes, 76 degrees on our Halloween. Going to be some record highs out there, my friends. Our extended forecast outlook is showing another very warm day out there for Friday. We really cool off starting the weekend.
All righty, Conrad. Thank you.
Still more to come after the break.
For 50 years, I've paid into Social Security and Medicare.
You earned it. You paid it in every week.
Austin Terrio skipped work in the State House.
But he still took his paycheck from taxpayers.
Now, Austin Terrio wants to go to Congress.
Joining politicians who would
cut the Social Security and Medicare benefits that we earned.
Which is kind of scary.
It's going to hurt a lot of people in Maine.
I think it's criminal.
Highway robbery.
No show, Terrio.
Will never work for Maine.
HMP is responsible for the content of this ad.
At the end of this long campaign, I want to leave you with a couple of thoughts. One is that in spite of the partisanship, progress is possible. The second is there's plenty left to do. Here's some progress: negotiating lower drug prices, historic new programs for veterans, and bringing manufacturing back to America. But reproductive rights, housing, the high cost of living, and fighting for democracy are still on the agenda. I'm Angus King, and I approve this message because with your help, I'm ready to get back after it.
Long-term care insurance can be expensive, and it is a use it or lose it policy. Is this still how long-term care works today?
In the traditional sense, when you're buying a traditional long-term care insurance, it's a use it or lose it, like your home insurance. You're paying a premium to your home insurance, and if your house burns down, glad you have it. If your house doesn't burn down and you don't use the insurance, it's use it or lose it, okay? You've paid all those premiums, but you did that.
An illegal immigrant ran an Albion mother off the road and killed her. How did we get here? Before Biden opened the border, Jared Golden voted to protect sanctuary cities, gave welfare to illegal immigrants, voted to allow those benefits to be spent on liquor and bail. Jared Golden created an immigration crisis in Maine, made it worse in Washington. And this is the cost. Congressional Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertisement.
St. Joseph Hospital in Bangor unveiled a new unit today. The 9 new age-friendly patient rooms were renovated to better fit the care needs of older patients. The rooms have been repainted and outfitted with numerous safety features like new handrails, grab bars, and ceiling lifts.
Here at St. Joe's, I mean, we are just so excited to bring this to the community. We can't thank Senator Collins enough. We are hoping it's going to make a huge difference for the patients that we serve.
Susan Collins helped make the renovations a possibility by securing $1.5 million for renovation projects in an appropriations bill.
Finally tonight, there's a one-of-a-kind fire academy on Schoodic Peninsula working to train the next generation of firefighters. Our Doug Banks spoke with 3 students who aim to broaden the ranks of their local departments.
How many seconds does it take to learn how to save a life?
Every other Saturday
8 to 4
since March.
Somewhere down the road, we're going to save a life.
At the Sorrento Volunteer Fire Department, the Schoodic Fire Academy's inaugural class is working to bring more firefighters to Down East Maine.
The main focus of the academy, getting more people AirPack certified.
Their classes involve lectures and hands-on training.
We have anywhere from 3 to 4 instructors with us in class every day.
A good example, last Saturday we had a guest lecturer that came in and covered all the aspects of fire alarms and sprinkler systems.
The Academy's bi-weekly program accommodates the students' busy schedules.
I'm actually the EMS assistant chief for Schoodic EMS.
I'm a part-time EMT for Schoodic EMS.
I am an EMT for Schoodic, and I'm also food service director of SAD 37.
Their dedication to bring more firefighters to the fold comes at a time when rural departments are struggling with recruitment.
We need more people to take some of the slack.
After their November 30th graduation, this is not the end, but rather the beginning for the Schoodic Fire Academy and for the students desiring to shepherd someone's darkest moment, new light.
Hopefully we can get some younger people engaged wanting to join their local fire departments and be part of the next Schoodic Academy class.
Maine is made up of little communities that need it.
I went from knowing absolutely nothing about firefighting to be certified to go into a burning building if I need to. It almost brings you to tears to know that they depend on you and they appreciate what you do. And that's what it's all about. Saving lives is what we do.
Doug Banks reporting for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Motorcycle accidents can happen fast.
I wasn't going to take a chance on my future.
I wanted all the money I deserved.
You'll need somebody who knows motorcycle law. Call the law offices of Joe Bornstein.
They got me way more than I thought I'd get.
An illegal immigrant ran an Albion mother off the road and killed her. How did we get here? Before Biden opened the border, Jared Golden voted to protect sanctuary cities, gave welfare to illegal immigrants, voted to allow those benefits to be spent on liquor and bail. Jared Golden created an immigration crisis in Maine, made it worse in Washington. And this is...
But I'm glad, hopefully the dog found a home and a family where there were,
Acreage to run on. She got acreage to run on.
Good. Okay, you owe the plaintiff $800. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you very much.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
My opinion's the only one that counts.
I'm actually just excited to get my money back, and you know, we've had to pay all the vet bills and everything. We just wanted to be reimbursed. That's all we really wanted to do.
Well, I don't think it's very fair. I told my side of the story. She just didn't believe me. Just not a lot I can do about it.
Thank goodness it wasn't my kids. Like, I was scared, like so petrified. Like, that's the only thing that I was thinking. Like, that's why I rushed down as fast as I could.
I was the one that was out there risking my hands breaking them up.
You know, and I was actually the one that kind of like helped get, you know, my dog.
I slapped Snickers on the butt.
So if I wouldn't have like happened, it probably would have gotten a lot worse.
It's non-existent. We don't talk anymore.
He's way better. He's really skittish. It's kind of sad, like really sad.
I hope we can just get over it, go back to being neighborly.
He's scared of his own leash. So, but I mean, I'm just glad he's okay.
This is Fox 22 News Tonight.
An associate justice of the Maine Supreme Judicial Court has been accused of an ethics violation by the Committee on Judicial Conduct. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Beth Jones.
And I'm Devin Dagnall. The committee, which supervises the Maine Judicial Branch, says that Associate Justice Catherine Connors has violated the Code of Judicial Conduct by not recusing herself from 2 foreclosure cases. According to the committee report sent to the court, Connors worked as an attorney representing banks and banking interests before being confirmed to the Maine Supreme Judicial Court. The report goes on to say that Connors previously had written to the Judicial Ethics Advisory Committee asking if she needed to recuse herself from the cases. At the time, the Ethics Committee determined she did not need to. However, the Committee on Judicial Conduct says Connors was required to consider whether her